What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with MMA Community Not Happy with UFC 312. The UFC card this past weekend might have delivered fireworks. However, from the sounds of things, the MMA community isn't feeling the upcoming UFC 312 card set to take place down under next month. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. In response to the 5-fight main card, which includes fights between Justin Tafa and Thaleson Teixeira, Jimmy Crute and Rodolfo Bellato, and Jake Matthews and Francisco Prado, in addition to the 2 title fights set for the main and co-main event, fans expressed their disappointment. I mean this with no exaggeration at all. I think this is the worst UFC pay-per-view of all time. Another wrote, "Yeah, I haven't seen or heard a single Australian fan be excited for this, just pure disappointment." One member of the MMA community replied, "I think February 1st card should be pay-per-view and UFC 312 should be a fight night. Call me crazy, but Izzy versus Imavov is a more interesting fight than this 312 main event. Some fans aren't even interested in the card. 1000%, I'm not even interested in watching the card at all. If there wasn't 2 titles on the line, this would be in the apex." Another pointed back to the UFC 279 card. "If you spend $74.99 on this pay-per-view, you're an actual NPC robot." One added, "Jimmy Crute on a pay-per-view in the year of our Lord 2025? Thaleson Teixeira? Justin Tafa? What is this?" Based on the main card, some fans won't even be watching. I'm definitely not waking up in the middle of the night for this card. Others don't think it's worth the money. Yep, hard pass. Ain't paying $70 for this. Another weighed in. "It's really bad that I'm struggling with remembering the opponents for the Aussies. Thaleson Teixeira? Wasn't he some Contender Series man, headlined by a rematch no one seriously wants, and a co-main of a once great undefeated prospect who has like 2 wins in 5 years? Given the way fans are talking about the card, it sounds like there's a good chance it might not sell well." Israel Adesanya predicts the upcoming UFC 312 fight between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis during an interview with Mike Bond on MMA Junkie. Here's what he had to say.
I say that Dricus wins that one. If it's close, maybe, or maybe it's more decisive this time. It's going to be a hard fight for both men, but I think I'll give the edge to Dricus in this fight.
Umar Nurmagomedov had surgery to fix his broken hand that he suffered at UFC 311. He posted a photo of the x-ray from the surgery on his IG. Michael Chandler interested in fighting Paddy Pimblett. After his last loss dropped him to just 2-4 in his UFC career, Michael Chandler is looking to get back in the win column in the new year. After previously showing interest in a fight with Paddy Pimblett, Iron Mike doubled down this week while speaking with Instant Casino, saying that he's interested in throwing down with the streaking Scouser. "I like the idea of fighting Paddy Pimblett and making a ton of money, and it being, I don't want to say an easy fight because I could go out there and slip on a banana peel and get knocked down in front of everybody, but let's just say I like the fight stylistically. I like Paddy as a human. I think he's one of the good ones. And with that being said, that does not stop me from wanting to separate him from consciousness. The way Chandler sees things, in the eyes of fans, he's supposed to beat Paddy. Because of that, it gives him extra motivation and takes him back to his days of competing in Bellator, where he'd often find himself matched up against up-and-coming fighters eager to make a name off of him. Of course, at the same time, Renato Moicano is eager to get his hands on the baddie after his loss to Islam Makhachev this past weekend. The two have been going back and forth for a while now, with fans hoping that Moicano would call Pimblett out after his UFC 300 win over Jalen Turner. Whichever direction the UFC decides to go, it sounds like Paddy is going to be facing a step up in competition the next time we see him in the octagon. Della Maddalena reveals fight offer for UFC 312 before Leon Edwards. When the UFC heads back to London this March, fight fans will be treated to a high-stakes main event bout that will pit Leon Edwards against Della Maddalena in what could very well wind up being a #1 contender fight for the welterweight division. According to JDM, before he and the UFC finalized a fight against the former champion, he actually offered to fight Carlos Prates on the UFC 312 card down under. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show on Wednesday, he opened up on the situation. "None of the guys in front of me wanted to really fly out to Sydney. The UFC never came to us, but me and Tim started floating the idea. I didn't mind the idea of finding Carlos Prates. I thought, why not? Like, he's an up-and-comer. Gilbert Burns gave me the opportunity. I've had a year off, so I was gonna probably be ready to step in and fight him. You know, I like his style, but then in the UFC, the first fight they came to me, they said, would you rather just fight Leon Edwards in London? I just thought, yep, let's just take the fight. It's a big fight, former champion." On top of the 5-round headliner between JDM and Leon Edwards, the card would include some local fan favorites, such as Meatball Molly McCann, who has had some big performances in London in the past. Also, the card will include former several Cage Warriors champions, with Jai Herbert set to fight Chris Padilla and Morgan Charrier set to fight Nathaniel Wood. Belal Muhammad goes off on Kamaru Usman. The way Kamaru Usman sees things, if he was Islam Makhachev, he'd move up to 170 to fight Belal Muhammad for the welterweight title, even though Makhachev and Muhammad trained together. The comments didn't sit well with the welterweight champion, who blasted Usman during an interview with MMA Fighting's Damon Martin, where he pointed out that Usman refused to move up and fight Israel Adesanya, despite the fact that the two didn't train together. They never trained together, but he said, "I would never fight Israel." He also said he would never fight Khabib. I'm like, bro, you never trained with him before. That's the thing. When Kamaru was champion, he wasn't looking for tests. He was a coward champion. He was the champion that, oh, let me get the rematch with, Kobe, who sucks, and let me get the rematch with Masvidal. His reign was rematches. He never wanted to fight the next best guy. He never wanted to fight the guy in the hot streak. He avoided those guys. Bro, shut up. You've never sweated with Adesanya in your life, and you made it seem like you would never fight him because he's your brother. After a bone infection forced him out of his first title defense, Muhammad also said that he's looking to get back in the octagon in May or June, kickstarting what he hopes will be a 3-fight run over the course of 2025. Based on Shavkat Rakhmonov's win over Ian Gary, Jack Della Maddalena is pretty confident that when the Nomad fights Belal Muhammad, the champion will emerge victorious. I think Belal might get him, to be honest. He has an awkward style. I think Belal actually might beat him. That's just based on Shavkat's last performance. With the champion looking to return sometime around the beginning of the summer, it sounds like the ball is in the UFC's court. Arman Tsarukyan provides more details on UFC 311 withdrawal. After clearing the air on his UFC 311 withdrawal while speaking with Ariel Helwani this week, Arman Tsarukyan made an appearance on the Jackson podcast to share his side of the story regarding the situation. As he explained, he started to deal with pain in his lower back that kept him up all night. After skipping morning training and going to the Fight Week press conference, things went from bad to worse while cutting weight. Despite being seen by the UFC's doctors, things never got better, and ultimately, Tsarukyan made the decision to pull out of the fight.
I can't move.
Oh, got it.
I can't move even my bed. I just was laying down on my back. I cannot go on my side, and that's why we decided, okay, maybe we could cut weight with some just lay down on the hot tub, but I don't know, I couldn't even wake up until next day evening. I just was on my bed almost 20 hours.
Yeah.
Now, with the streaking contender forced to earn another crack at the title, it sounds like the most likely scenario is a rematch with Charles Oliveira to decide who gets to fight Islam Makhachev. Footage emerges of Conor McGregor confronting Logan Paul. While nothing got too out of hand given the special occasion, Conor McGregor and Logan Paul did have some pretty interesting exchanges on Inauguration Day. After footage of McGregor sitting with the Paul brothers' mom on a bus went viral, new footage has now emerged of McGregor confronting Logan Paul, saying that everything might be sweet between the two sides in the moment, but when push came to shove, Paul kept his mouth shut when it came to trying to finalize a boxing match between the two. On top of that, McGregor also seemed to take a shot at the two Paul brothers, calling them little side jobs, which led to Logan Paul taking his own jab at the former champ.
Look, it's all sweet here, it's all sweet here, yeah. Well, you kept your mouth shut, you did. I thought we were going to get the fight down, and you get very quiet.
What did you think the best course of action was for that?
You were giving all this Dana, that, you're in control with the WWE as well, but I don't be giving all this mega stiff.
I didn't hear the last 5 seconds.
That was in the air for us. Yes, bring it home for me. This is the real deal, yeah? In front of you, you know that. You know that, bro. So look here, we'll do it. He couldn't do what, 190, 195? I'd do a 90. He was sick over it, yeah. He was sick. You're sick. Listen, here's the deal. I'm going to slap the head off the two of yous and KSI. No! Yous are mixers to me. You understand that? Side jobs. A little side job.
No, you can't even do your main job. How you gonna do a side job?
That's November stage.
Simmer down, boys. Bro, it's crazy being on a bus with you, bro. If there's a dolly, bro, you're going through a window.
While a potential boxing match between McGregor and Logan Paul seems to be out of the question while he's under contract with the UFC, McGregor did say he was going to slap the head off both Paul brothers and KSI, opening the door to a potential fight down the line if he and the UFC ever part ways. Cory Sandhagen believes he can beat Merab Dvalishvili. Merab Dvalishvili might have handed Umar Nurmagomedov his first loss, but Cory Sandhagen believes that style makes fights, and that he has what it takes to dethrone the champion. While Sandhagen didn't pitch a fight between him and Dvalishvili, given that he's coming off a loss, he did outline several key reasons why he believes he would be successful in a fight against the machine in a new video for his YouTube channel.
Styles make fights, all right? I think that if you're going to be a guy that fights against Merab, you have to have really good footwork and be able to defend the takedowns in an energy efficient way. That if there is a style that beats Merab, it's one that can control the space the best. And say whatever you want about my style, what you have to say about it is that I probably have the best footwork in the division, and if not the best, like way up there, okay? I hold space, keep space, close it, open it, better than anyone else in the division, in my opinion.
After his first successful title defense, Dvalishvili is looking to run things back with Sugar Sean O'Malley before the beginning of summer. In the case of Cory Sandhagen, so far there's been no word on what the UFC has in store for him going forward. Given the current rankings, a fight between number 4 ranked Sandhagen and number 5 ranked Davison Figueiredo, or a rematch between Sandhagen and number 2 ranked Peter Yan, seem to make sense. With the 135-pound division arguably more stacked than ever before, it'll be interesting to see how the UFC decides to handle things going forward. Robert Whittaker goes off on Daniel Cormier for leaking photos. In a recent podcast, Robert Whittaker revealed that Daniel Cormier took a picture of Rob's jaw from someone else's phone and posted it. And according to Rob, he thinks that was a scummy move on DC's part. Here's what Whittaker had to say.
DC took a photo off the other guy's phone to post all over socials. It's like, is that not scummy?